This is Jolie here for talkSPORT Boxing. Delighted to be joined by Chris Billam-Smith. It's good to see you here. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thanks, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, all good, thank you. So we're here in Leytonstone again. This time around, the news is out. The Zuffa Boxing signing is official. How happy are you to get this over the line?
Yeah, extremely happy. Obviously, it's been spoke about for a while. We were in negotiations with Zufa for a while, and we couldn't really get a contract signed until they signed with Sky Sports, and obviously that got done, which I think is an absolute match made in heaven in terms of two entertainment powerhouses coming together. To be a part of that and to be part of the first Zufa show in England is a real honour.
How long have you known about this? I remember coming up about a month and a half, 2 months ago, and I thought that this would be a really good move for you. How long was this in negotiations for, Chris?
Yeah, I think last time I spoke to you, we were nearly there with it. We just it's been spoke about probably since beginning of March. We've been working away in the background on it, and really pleased with the deal.
What is the plan? What was the main reason? Obviously, you've said that they're two powerhouses, which they are. Is there an end goal for you?
Yeah, I mean, the Opetaia fight's the end goal. You know, it's one which for me personally is the fight that was always going to happen, and I always wanted it. Numerous times, we were hoping to get him for the stadium fight. He couldn't do it. I don't know what it was. I think it was some contractual issues for him. Ended up with Lawrence Okoli. Then I was going to fight November, December. He wanted to fight in October for the unification, and didn't happen then. But now, come and sign with Zufa, and we know it's going to happen.
Is this Ryan Rozicki fight then a case of you have to obviously take 100% focus and put it all onto that fight June the 6th? But is it a case of if you do get that fight out of the way, then that's what's next, Opetaia?
Potentially next, yeah. I don't know. Obviously, there's been talk recently about Jai and Benavidez, but I think it's going to happen in the next 18 months, year to 18 months. I think me against Jai, and providing we both win, and that's why this fight is so important. It's there is no Jai Opetaia fight without me beating Ryan Rozicki. So, as always, stay professional and get a job done.
I'm looking forward to June 6th. We will be there at talkSPORT. I just want to, first of all, before we get onto that, speak about Benavidez's performance. It was so special. What did you make of that stoppage?
Yeah, it was crazy. I didn't think I knew he could punch hard. I didn't think the punches have as much as an effect as they did. I actually thought in 10-ounce gloves, because they've sparred a lot of rounds, I thought in 10-ounce gloves Zerda would be more effective. I think he wouldn't, because he's very accurate with his shots, good body puncher, all those sort of things, good timing, and I thought he'd be too big for him. But fantastic performance by Benavidez, carried the speed up, carried the power, or even more power, and obviously got a stoppage.
Yeah, I think the speed was almost a part of the power as well, just how quick he was.
Yeah, for sure. You know, the way he puts his shots together and holds the weight through the punches. There's fighters before which sort of, can throw plenty of shots. You look at like Pacquiao and Amir Khan, they don't carry the same weight in like one punch. If they were you look at Pacquiao Hatton, for example, one punch knockout, fantastic shot, but Pacquiao's not throwing, 8 shots in a row that heavy, but Benavidez does that, and he's very, very thuddy throughout all his shots, and as we saw, can create a lot of damage.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, June 6th, it's a really exciting night. Back on the beach in Bournemouth in summer. You've been here many times before. Just how excited are you to be home? Yeah,
so excited. For me, it's the main motivator for this fight is boxing back home. If this fight was on an undercard again at 5:30 or whatever, I think it'd be harder to motivate myself, but to top the bill and have the pressure on me in my hometown, in front of my home fans, and the support I get, it's just it's electric. I got into the sport because of atmosphere and they definitely create an atmosphere for me.
Yeah, for sure. I remember we spoke last time and you were saying how you were kind of frustrated at the fact that you didn't always want to be on the 5 p.m. slots or whatever it would be. And I went back and, as you do, obviously, you look at the records ahead of today, and I was just looking at how active you were before you've had this little break. Do you feel like you've got that buzz and you're ready to get into momentum again? Because there was a period of time you were fighting quite a lot.
Yeah, I mean, from coming out of lockdown, really, I think I was pretty active. I had the Tom McCarthy fight, then the Brejon fight, then the McCarthy rematch, then Chamberlain, then Zhozai, all in a quick succession. Then I was sort of boxing twice a year, but it kind of suited me because I was getting cut in my fight, so I had to have like 8 weeks out anyway with my cuts, and then get back in the gym and start sparring and stuff. So but the break is, I've used it to my benefit, and I think I'm better off for the break, to be honest. I think it's given me a bit of time to sit back, reflect, enjoy my second born son. Whereas with Frank, I was in camp for the Chamberlain fight after 4 weeks. Whereas this one, I've been at home a lot more. Now, obviously, away in camp again. But yeah, it's I'm excited to get active again.
How do you make sure you don't overlook opponents? Because it's so easy to do that in the world of boxing. Obviously, you look at David Morrell's performance against Benavidez was really good, and then losing to Zach Shelley, who put on a fantastic performance at the weekend. But you just never know what kind of style you're up against, and sometimes that can cause a difficult test for a fighter that may seem way higher in the rankings, if that makes sense. How do you make sure that you don't overlook him? Because you're expected to win.
Yeah. The thing is, for me, I perform best against big punchers. There's that fear factor there. So Rozicki is definitely that. He comes and then he throws big shots, but he's slightly different from like Lawrence and Richard in terms of he carries his power throughout his shots. He's got whether it's a right uppercut, a right hook, a left hook to the head, left hook to the body, the jab. All of them will be weighty shots. So that switches me on, and I have to look at it for what it is, and that's the fight and him, and it's me against him. It's like if he was coming over to spar, I look at it like that. What are the dangers? What can I do? What can't I do? And I have to just simplify it and look at that, and that is it. It's not about Jai Opetaia. It's not about being at home in Bournemouth. It's not about any of those things. At the end of the day, all I've got to do is go in there and beat another man in a boxing match, and that's what I've got to do. So I have to look at his strengths and weaknesses and use my strengths.
I was in Manchester on the weekend, Saturday night. May the 9th was a night to remember for boxing. I'm sure you watched the fight. What did you make of Fabio Wardley losing to Daniel Dwire in what was an incredible fight? Yeah,
it was first and foremost an amazing fight. Obviously, Daniel showed huge amounts of resilience. I think something that's been sort of questioned about him in the past. I think since the Lorena fight, obviously he was in the gym for that fight. He showed a lot. He tore his MCL in that fight and carried on for a few rounds to win, which is, I think he had someone in his corner that night who in Shane, who managed to adjust the game plan, and Daniel listened and got the job done. And then to come off the back of a pretty bad knockout against Usyk to then get up off the floor twice. Yeah. To win shows a lot of mental resilience, and I think you've got to give Daniel huge credit for that. And a fantastic fight, a good night, a good show. To be fair, it was one of the best shows I've seen for a long time over here. And it's a fight will be remembered for what it deserves to be remembered for, which was a classic fight. Obviously, some sort of controversy around the ending and Fabio being you should have been pulled out earlier, but a great fight nonetheless.
What did you think? Obviously, Shane said on Instagram after "pull them out, you chumps," in reference to Fabio's corner. He looked fairly rough from sort of 7-8 onwards. It got more difficult. Were you in that same sort of ballpark as Shane and other fans in the sense that you think it should have been stopped earlier? What's your view on that?
Yeah, I think it should have been. I mean, if I've seen it recently, I actually saw it recently with Will Crawler as well when he was hurt, and he got up and won that fight, but I still think it should have been stopped before, even in hindsight, because nothing is more important than health. You know, no win against anyone is more important than your health. So even if Fabio had won the other night, that's how I would have felt. And he's never going to quit. He's never going to go, I'm done. I know Fabio, and I know, you know, he's got to where he is because of that mental resilience. But I think there was a few things, you know, members of the corner, like after I think the ninth or before the ninth, he didn't. They weren't even looking at him as he was walking back to the corner when he stumbled and stuff. And it's like, well, he's just had a rough round. Like, you want to keep an eye on him, and you know, I guess he's a victim of his own success in terms of his a big punch he's turned fights around in the past. But that one, you've got to know, and a brave corner is never a good thing.
Okay, well, really looking forward to this on June the 6th. We will see you there.
Nice one. Cheers, mate.